This is our first session, isn't it, like this? It may not be our last. We'll see how things go through the afternoon. But I'm really keen that we see ourselves together as one team, clearly working together as part of the 4 CCGs working together at the moment, but clearly one team moving into the new CCG arrangements. So I hope that things work well for us this afternoon, and that this may be something that we might want to do on a few more occasions during the year. So the purpose of today is really kind of a bit of a stock take of where we are and where we're going. It's a bit of a getting to know you, and it's also, I think, an opportunity for us to work out how we're going to start building on the really impressive and great work that we all do in our CCG roles, day in, day out, going forward. How we further develop our teamwork and the cohesion between us. And it's a great opportunity for open discussion about how we move forward together. I've said on a few occasions recently that I and the senior team were very much in listening mode. So whilst I've got a few things I'd like to share with you, today really is about our discussion, and we really want to hear feedback, comments, concerns, ideas, perspectives from you all, some of which we might want to reflect on as part of the discussion around the questions, but everything sort of needs to be put into the mix and the thinking about how we move forward together. I want to thank everybody who's worked hard to get us all here today. It's been a significant team effort just to make that happen. I want to thank you all for the support you've given me and the team over the past few months as we've tried to move things forward. So thank you all. And for those of you that perhaps have known me a little bit longer, I think hopefully you'll sense that I see my job primarily as to help you all do your jobs to best effect, to have rewarding jobs and work with us, and to feel really positive about what you do and how you work together with others. So today is part of that process as well. Okay, so where are we? Let me sort of take you back to the 1st of April, which in my world feels like a lifetime ago already. So on the 1st of April this year, I started as your accountable officer across the 4 CCGs in the county. And on the 1st of April, I set out what I'd be doing in my first 100 days. I also would have shared with you that I think there are only 2 reasons why any of us are here. And that's because we are committed to work together to improve the health of the people of Lincolnshire, who we serve, and we're here to improve the quality of health services that they receive. Those, to me, always have been in my career and always will be sort of my guiding stars. And I very much hope that they are for you as well. When I was setting out on my first 100 days, what I said was this was a new role for me. I know I'd been in parts of the system prior to that, but I did see it as a new role, and I was seeing me as a new man in a new role, and that I was going to take my time to listen, to understand, to visit parts of the county that I wasn't particularly familiar with, and try and sort of really kind of get my head around what this new job was that I've got, and where I can best give effect to responsibilities that I have. At that time, the role for me was about exploring how we develop a 1 CCG approach for Lincolnshire, how we work together to provide one voice as a team, but also how we recognise that Lincolnshire is a huge patch of land and that there are wildly varying needs in the local communities that we serve. I was staggered when I went to Mablethorpe and met the team in Mablethorpe, so the GP practice and others who work there. I hadn't appreciated that as clearly in the country we've got a diabetes crisis, haven't we, across England. Mablethorpe actually has the highest rate of diabetes anywhere in England, anywhere in the country. That's absolutely staggering. Meanwhile, down in Stamford, an area I'm a bit more familiar with, they're, Sunday Times best place to live in the country. I mean, that is a huge range, isn't it, between Mablethorpe and Stamford. We serve lots of local communities across the county. Clearly, Gainsborough's different from Spalding, from Boston, from Skegness, from Sleaford, from Grantham, from Lincoln, to Bourne, and so on. So whilst we're thinking about how we work together across the county, we must always, always, always bear in mind that everything is local, and the needs and circumstances of people in our local communities are very different as well. I said that I'd be setting up the arrangements to help bring the CCG teams together. We do, don't we, every Monday morning at 10 o'clock, we do the staff briefing session. What's going on, what happened last week, what is going to happen next week, where we are in relation to our key priorities around quality, around finance, around working together as an STP and working together across the CCGs. I also brought all of our CCG executives together, and we've been meeting together every week since the beginning of April. That includes our clinical chairs and leads as well. We've also created a pattern with our governing bodies where every 2 months they come together and meet and work together on matters of significant mutual interest. And we've had 2 of those sessions now. I think we're doing quite well in terms of trying to create some cohesion across us all, making sure we get the information, the communication and the arrangements in place to work together. I did also say on the 1st of April I wanted to take a steady as we go approach. That isn't to say there isn't a lot of change going on. Boy, there's a huge amount of change going on. But it's almost our mindset, isn't it? We're not going to react to things, we're going to respond. That we're going to work our way through things in an intelligent, sensible, measured, balanced way. And we're going to keep our ship as steady as we can as we go forward through what is a lot of change. I hadn't anticipated then that by the end of April, our 4 governing bodies would have met and would have considered how they want to move forward together, and very enthusiastically said that they do want us to work together. They want the 4 to become one, and they want us to create a new CCG for the county. So that's our CCG. In terms of the timescales for that, you'll know that we're trying to shoot for 1st of April next year, and there's a lot of work that we require to do to go through all sorts of assurance processes, planning processes, but most importantly, we have to design a new CCG for Lincolnshire that we think will give us the best chance of doing the job that we're all here to do, which of course is to improve the health of the population and to improve the quality of care that they get. And that's where the team effort comes in. This is what part of today is about. So this is about our CCG. It's not my CCG, it's not the governing body's CCG, it's our CCGs. And only we, I think, can work out together how we can make it the best CCG for the people we serve and the best CCG to work in. And today's an important part of that process. I also said on the 1st of April that it's a very, very busy space for us all. There's a huge amount of work that you do and you're involved in, day out. There's a huge number of operational issues. Whilst we're thinking about the future, whilst we're developing our teamwork, where we're trying to understand where we're going next, there are no prizes at all for taking our eye off the delivery ball day to day. We've got really important quality issues for our patients that we need to address. We also have some significant financial issues as well that we've got to work our way through. So whilst we're all working out how we go forward and how we're looking to change services in the short to medium term, it's important that we stay focused on delivering the day in, day out responsibilities that we have too. And finally, I hope I've created on the 1st of April and we continue to create an expectation of great teamwork and communication, a sense of respect for the roles that we do, an understanding of what goes on in our CCGs, and mutual support, because we all have pretty difficult jobs to do, actually. And then, of course, all of those changes are in the context of the National Long-Term Plan and a whole range of expectations that are upon us. I've had my first 100 days, and I thought I'd just share with you some of the stuff I've been doing, what my findings are, but I want to absolutely say to you all, thank you. Thank you for the work that you do for the CCGs and on behalf of our population and patients day in, day out. It is valued, it is appreciated, and I've been hugely impressed by the commitment and dedication that you've all demonstrated, certainly since I've been in the role. Thank you very, very much. In terms of what I've been up to, I've been trying to understand the role of the CCGs working together. I've been trying to understand where we're going together, and I've been trying to understand how we need to work in a different way in partnership with our trusts, with our GP practices, with the county council, with the district councils, with our third sector partners, with a wide range of people, because actually the improvement of health and services in Lincolnshire isn't just an NHS thing. It's not only a teamwork effort with us, it's a teamwork effort with everybody else who's involved, and there are a lot of people involved there. I spent a bit of time with both East and West governing bodies, getting out to see some of the practices and some of the services in both. I've visited GP practices, I've met with our primary care networks, leads and teams, I've met with our neighbourhood team leads. These are crucially important roles for the future of our service. I spent a lot of time working with our local politicians and the senior executives at the county council. I've attended way too many health scrutiny committee meetings, the county council's health and wellbeing board. I spent some time with the district council chief executives. Districts have a really important role in the health of local communities. I'm not sure we've really appreciated that. There's a lot of evidence that says that only a fifth of the population's health status is determined by what the NHS does. A lot of it is determined by employment, life circumstances, and significant issues like housing. And of course, districts have a key role in supporting housing in the county. I spent some time with the Lincolnshire Care Home Association. I spent, way too much time with the chief executives at ULHT, LCHS and LPFT. And you all know that actually they've all changed since the 1st of April. I'm the longest standing one, actually, 3 months in. So you know that Andrew Morgan, who was in the Community Trust, recently moved to ULHT. Maz Fosh, who was his deputy, has now stepped into LCHS. And we welcome Brendan Hayes as the new Chief Executive of LPFT. I've spent a lot of time actually with the regional directors of NHS England and NHS Improvement, because of course they're changing as well. I try not to worry about them too much. My job's to worry about Lincolnshire, but I do have to account and report to them from time to time. And they're trying to change their relationship with us into a much more sort of partnership one, rather than a rather sort of cold-hearted assurance one. Did I say that or just think it? We've had Simon Stevens, the Chief Executive of NHS England, visit us. He came to do a lecture at the University of Lincoln, and I had the opportunity to meet with Simon for half an hour or so. He was far better sighted on the issues in Lincolnshire than I'd anticipated, and was particularly well sighted on some key things that we are doing exceptionally well in Lincolnshire. And he said, well done for all this stuff. Of course, we discussed some difficult issues as well. So sometimes I think that we think our reputation in health in Lincolnshire isn't that great. I can tell you now that many others outside Lincolnshire look at what we're doing, look at a lot of our results and say, wow, actually, you guys are on it in a way that not many other people are. So there's something about just, when others hold the mirror up and say, you're actually far better than I think you think you are. That's good to hear. course, we've kicked off Healthy Conversation. That's the big public engagement exercise. I've attended a Health Watch board. We're doing a lot of work with the third sector at the moment. The third sector actually organising themselves into what they're calling the Voluntary Executive Team. VET, I know, but that's how they've organised themselves. So this really impressive work. So we now have a chair and a vice chair of the Lincolnshire third sector who we can work with on behalf of the third sector in entirety. That's a big step forward in the way they've organised themselves. I've met the Police and Crime Commissioner. I'm in very regular liaison with our MPs, and also we've established new system executive architecture across the trusts and the CCGs together. So that's just some of the things that I wanted to draw to your attention. I'm really pleased with how things are going, certainly in my world in relation to all of that. And I hope that you're feeling a degree of sort of comfort that things are coming together in the right way for you and your part in the CCG. So I've got some key findings. I've got 11 of them, but they're fairly brief. Number one, there are many committed and dedicated staff and partners across Lincolnshire in the CCGs, in the trusts and in our partners, all working very hard for the benefits of our population. Number two, our local communities across Lincolnshire and their local population health status and local dynamics are very different, and I've touched on that as well. Number three, there is broad support and enthusiasm for joint partnership working across one Lincolnshire system within the NHS and with our partners, and an ambition, a shared ambition, to make Lincolnshire the best version of itself we can possibly make it. There is much encouragement also for the CCG merger and to create a new CCG serving the county as quickly as possible. It is vital that it is clinically led and is locally focused. Staff are engaged but understandably anxious about what this will mean, and we're committed to working with you all through this process. Number five, primary care networks. A huge amount of positive energy around these. GPs and their practices are very engaged and committed. We've got clinical directors for primary care networks coming into place, and in fact their first meeting is this afternoon. In-year performance is a big concern. A&E, urgent and emergency care, cancer, dementia, and the money. So this goes back to we've got to keep our eye on the day-to-day issues. 7, there are significant pressures on our NHS, some of which are ongoing, demand upon GP practices, some of which just pop up. So the Wainfleet flooding, for example, or the issue at the Cleveland practice in Gainsborough, these things come up and take a huge amount of time and effort from the local teams to sort out. NHS England, reorganisation is going on. I've written here, much talk and some evidence of changes. It's early days, so let's see. Number 9, across Lincolnshire, our key issues of quality of care, workforce and financial challenges remain. So it's really important that we take our strategic thinking forward, such as our acute services review, primary care networks and integrated community care. Number 10, much praise from external sources for the system working, and actually we're now getting additional money and resources into Lincolnshire on the basis of others saying you're working together so well as a system that actually we want you to be a trailblazer for us. So IM&T is one example of that, mental health is another. Those two together are going to bring in probably £10 million extra funding into Lincolnshire in the next couple of years. That's big. And number 11 is we can get all this right in Lincolnshire. There's a huge amount of good stuff to build on, and I'm confident that we can get Lincolnshire to where we want it to be. So my next 100 days, and I think our next 100 days, taking all of that together, really boils down to 5 things. Number 1 is we need to continue to build and deepen our partnerships across Lincolnshire and where appropriate with key partners outside of Lincolnshire. Number two, we do need to press on with the creation of the new CCG. I think that ball is now rolling, and I think it's in all of our best interests to try and progress that as quickly as we can with a view to creating the new organisation for 1st of April next year. Now that that ball is rolling, I can't see any reason why we wouldn't want to go through the process as quickly as possible for all of our benefits. If we don't do it for 1st of April next year, it'll be 1st of April the following year, because you can only do it on the financial year cycle. Number three is we need to focus on and drive our operational performance issues. Number four is we need to support the primary care networks to get off to the best possible start, including the clinical directors there. And number five is we need to lead the discussions that are ongoing about the integrated care system for Lincolnshire that we will, as one CCG, be part of, and we need to further explore and deepen our future role as a strategic commissioner. So I think that those are the five key priorities that I'll be looking to progress over the next 100 days. And perhaps in 100 days, or maybe 102 days' time, we might come back into a forum like this and we can reflect on what I hope will be another great 3 months of hard work, impressive work, building teamwork and delivering on the things that we can deliver within that time frame.